Okay, I know we're not done yet, but I think there's something missing in our decor this year.
I think you're right. If we love animatronics so much, we need a Spirit Halloween animatronic.
That's a great idea.
Did you order this?
Not that I know of.
I heard you want a Spirit Halloween animatronic. I am Green, and I'm here to tell you about the best Spirit Halloween animatronics of the 2022 season. They were ranked by some experts on the Grimm scale, with 1 skull being not too scary, and 5 skulls being very scary. Starting with Possessed Pumpkin Animatronic.
The Possessed Pumpkin Animatronic is amazingly terrifying. Standing at 7 feet tall with evil light-up eyes, he is sure to scare anyone who crosses his path. It resembles a giant scarecrow pumpkin monster with sharp claws and teeth, wearing a brown shirt and dark green pants filled with straw. When activated, the body and head move side to side as the eyes light up, and he can be heard saying several menacing phrases.
Now it's my turn to make a jack-o'-lantern.
The story of this animatronic dates back to 100 years ago when, according to a legend, a loving mother made her son a homemade Halloween costume so he could go trick-or-treating. The other children teased him, making fun of the costume and calling him horrible names. They ended up locking him away in an abandoned pumpkin farm barn. And this farm was haunted by the spirits of the family who starved to death there during the Great Winter. Now, the barn is the final resting place for the poor boy's body, but his soul rages on, dedicated to torturing neighborhood kids every Halloween. Could this farm be Spirit Acres Farm? People who have brought this animatronic love him and use this animatronic for pumpkin patches and pumpkin-related decor. His size and voice makes for a great scare. Eagle Eye fans will probably recognize that this animatronic has the same mechanisms as the original Crouchy animatronic that came out back in 2019. And on the Grimm scale, the Spooky Duck Squad gave it 5 skulls out of 5.
Bago Bones.
Back in 2018, one of the themes that Spirit Halloween created for the season was Spirit Acre Farms. The theme featured corn stalks, pumpkins, hay bales, barrels, a windmill, and even wooden water towers to give a spooky farm-like atmosphere. To announce it, they released a video showcasing all new animatronics for the 2018 season. And after this, Spirit Acre Farms became a fan-favorite theme among Spirit Halloween fans. So much so that the theme keeps coming back, and this year, it returned as a small Easter egg on an all-new animatronic, the Bago Bones. This is an animatronic skeleton that resided in a burlap bag. When activated, the skeleton pops up from out of the bag as green lights glow while screams and laughter can be heard. And in the bag, we can see that not only Spirit Acre Farms is featured on the back, but also Jack the Reaper. The story goes that the folks who live near Spirit Acre Farms don't say much about the noises coming from the old barn. Instead, they keep their heads down because they'd rather not wind up like some of their neighbors in a burlap bag by the old abandoned grits mill. And we completely agree. This animatronic is 3 feet tall and works with an infrared sensor that will make sure to scare any passerby as it screams and jumps out. The animatronic is fantastic. After all, we love a simple but effective jump scare, to be honest. Fans find this animatronic setup very simple, and the mechanism's speed makes for a tremendous scare. As for the Grimm scale, the Spooky Duck Squad gave it 2 skulls out of 5.
Lucky Bottoms Animatronic.
One of the most popular and recurring themes in Spirit Halloween merch are creepy clowns. And this year, there are plenty. One of these is Lucky Bottoms. Lucky Bottoms resembles a black and white clown breaking out of the ground with its arm in an upward position. When turned on, the animatronic continuously convulses as it laughs maniacally. But why, you may ask, is this clown cut in half? Well, according to Spirit Halloween, Lucky was a clown who truly believed that laughter was the best medicine and would do anything to keep the crowd rolling down the aisles. But he couldn't handle the silence when the show was over. So this drove him into all-night clubs where desperate clowns risk everything, including their lives for a laugh. And sadly, it took one nearsighted magician with lousy eyesight to make his legs disappear for good, and Lucky to lose his mind. This animatronic is 2.6 feet tall and moves in circular motions. It is sensor activated and also compatible with a step pad. There is no way that Lucky will not be able to scare anyone who approaches him with his laughter and movements, especially people who are already scared of clowns. Lucky's face and creepy hands add so much to the scare factor. This animatronic was well received by Spirit Halloween fans, who find that one of the coolest aspects of this animatronic is that it can also run continuously, without the need for a sensor. And because of how short he is, you can use it in multiple ways. On the Grimm scale, the Duck Squad gave it 4 skulls out of 5.
Younge Crouchy.
Who doesn't love Crouchy?
I do.
Well, we do too, and also everyone else, because ever since Crouchy appeared at Spirit Halloween stores back in 2019, fans have loved to be scared by him. Crouchy was introduced for the 2019 season as a 7-foot animatronic evil clown with red hair, who was seen wearing a black and red suit, with hands that have long black nails and large shoes. This animatronic was huge and terrifying. This clown's story is sad and creepy. Crouchy had always been the scared clown in the circus, but he never intended to be scary. His size and appearance had always been creepy to people, and after trying to change everyone's opinion about him, he got tired. So he decided to embrace the horror by torturing children with his huge sinister grin that showed off his bloody dagger-like teeth. This character was so well received that Spirit Halloween began creating awesome merch featuring him. And this year, Crouchy came back as an animatronic. This new animatronic is Younge Crouchy, and with this release, we learned a bit more about this character. According to the Spirit website, the pain of growing up orphan in the streets can only be masked by laughter, at least according to this broken child. With no friends, no family, and nowhere to turn, he joined the traveling circus. And as we know from before, he never intended to scare anyone, but with his broken posture and twisted frame, he always did. No amount of makeup could ever hide his sinister grin and sharp dagger-like teeth, so he finally embraced his true identity as Crouchy and worked to become the show's most terrifying act. This new animatronic is 4 feet tall, and his body and head turn as his eyes light up and laughter can be heard. And many people seem to agree that having this new Crouchy as a mini-me for the original one is fantastic. On the Grimm scale, the Duck Squad gave it 4 skulls out of 5.
Lil Skelly Bones.
It really shows that Grimm made this list because it's chock full of animatronic skeletons. Lil Skelly Bones made his debut back in 2015. When he was first presented, this animatronic resembled a skeletal child in a skeletal costume, swinging on a swing. When activated, he began to swing as his head turned, eyes lit up, and spoke one of multiple phrases. Lil Skelly was supposed to stand guard and make anyone who attempted to approach your house and get your candy afraid. His eyes glowed ominously, and his head followed each of his victims, all while swinging creepily back and forth. His huge popularity led to him coming back for the 2016 season, and even inspired Spirit Halloween to create a video titled Take a Walk with Lil Skelly Bones, featuring a live-action version of the animatronic. And of course, that's not all, because Skelly Bones came back this year. Apparently, Skelly Bones got tired of waiting on the swing, and he is now ready to play hide and seek. He left the swing behind, and now, standing at 3 feet tall, this animatronic always finds his victim with the help of his LED light-up yellow eyes. You can now see him crouching down with his hands covering his face, and when activated, Skelly jumps up as his eyes light up, and phrases can be heard. This is, in our opinion, the cutest animatronic on this list, but that doesn't make him less scary because people agree that he produces a great jump scare. As for the Duck Squad, you find Skelly Bones more cute than scary, so you gave him 1 skull out of 5 on the Grimm scale.
Tombstone Terror.
Another skeleton on this list, this time is Steve's turn. Also known as Tombstone Terror, this animatronic resembles a tombstone with a pile of skulls on the front. When activated, a skeleton pops up from behind the tombstone as his eyes light up and laughing can be heard. This skeleton is Steve. For years, Steve worked security at the local cemetery, and during this time, no one ever got in or out without him knowing. But when Steve passed, the local gravediggers were looking to score and cash in on some undead remains. Steve, who was always willing to work the graveyard shift, had a special connection with the spirits that rested there and would not permit it. So, now that his own spirit has joined them, he waits for any intruders to disturb their slumber before popping up from behind his tombstone and scaring the life out of anyone who dares to cross his path. The animatronic and tombstone are 2.5 feet tall and features piercing screams and a pop-up motion skeleton with light-up red LED eyes. And honestly, the way Steve pops out of the tombstone gives people a fantastic jump scare. scare. Fans agree that this animatronic is amazing and works perfectly in a cemetery scene. And the Duck Squad agrees, because you gave Steve 2 skulls on the Grimm scale.
Bog Zombie Animatronic.
Moving on to zombies, this Bog Zombie animatronic is great and very imposing. Just as its name says, the animatronic resembles a zombified corpse that, when activated, his right arm and body sway as his eyes light up and mouth moves to groan. Before becoming a zombie, this evil headmaster ran a privately owned orphanage, the Bayou Children's Home in Louisiana. He used to terrorize the children left under his care until one fateful night when the children rose against him and dragged his body to the nearby swamp. After this, the orphanage was closed. But according to legend, he still wanders the area on the anniversary of his disappearance. Having taken the form of a bloodthirsty zombie, he drags his decaying corpse from the water, searching the wetlands for anything, actually anyone, to feed his insatiable appetite. This animatronic zombie stands at 6 feet tall, with a menacing set of yellow light-up LED eyes, and a moving mouth that spews several bone-chilling moans and groans. His movement, plus the creepy groans and sounds, make it very scary to passerbys. People seem to love this animatronic's details, like the moss, the details on his face, and his clothing. Very creepy indeed. You guys gave him 4 skulls out of 5 on the Grimm scale.
Nozzles the Clown Animatronic.
Another clown on this list, but this one comes with a fantastic addition. Nozzles is a clown with green and white makeup, wearing a green and purple biohazard costume and nozzles for hands. When he is activated, his body and arms move as his eyes light up. And get this, fog shoots out of the nozzles as he says different phrases. Before he became Nozzles, Terry was on top of the world. He was a famous clown and one of the world's greatest daredevils. That is, until he fell victim to one of his stunts. A dangerous escape act from a glass filled with poisonous gas in front of a live audience. The circus told Terry that the toxic smog couldn't harm him, but he learned the hard way that you can't trust anyone. So Terry now follows the circus from town to town, haunting attendees and dispersing the toxic gas that took his life. The animatronic is 6 feet tall and wears a black light-responsive clown outfit. His sinister smile, along with his maniacal laugh and flailing light-up green LED nozzle arms that actually spew fog, make him one of the coolest animatronics that Spirit Halloween released this year. And of course, what makes him a fan favorite is the toxic green fog that comes out of his hands. The Duck Squad gave Nozzles 4 skulls out of 5 on the scale.
Reagan Animatronic.
Spirit Halloween has some of the best horror movie licenses there are, and The Exorcist is one of them. They are no strangers to Reagan animatronics, having made the first one all the way back in 2011, when they created the life-size Reagan McNeil animatronic, which, when activated, its head spun 360 degrees around before stopping in place. After this, the mouth moved, the eyes lit up, and the body shook as it spoke phrases from the film. The next Reagan animatronic they created was in 2012, and it was Rising Reagan. This animatronic was lying down, and when activated, she looked from side to side, then sat up and spun her head around. She also spoke several phrases as her eyes lit up and her mouth moved. Pretty frightening, isn't she? Well, this year, Reagan is back, and this new animatronic is terrifying. At 5 feet tall, Reagan has the unusual, disturbing head-spinning movements while saying new phrases. While her mouth doesn't move this time, there's a chilling extra included in this animatronic. Reagan has a projector on her back that, whenever she's activated, projects a spooky light-up image of Pazuzu, the demon possessing her, on the wall behind her. This is a fantastic detail for anyone who loves The Exorcist, and the Duck Squad gave her 3 skulls out of 5 on the Grimm scale.
Strawman Animatronic.
We're now moving on to the scariest animatronics on this list. Strawman resembles a 6.6 feet tall lanky scarecrow wearing a blue and gray plaid outfit, and when activated, his body, head, and mouth move around to phrases as his eyes light up. This is actually the second animatronic made by Spirit Halloween that utilizes servo technology for his head. The first one being, well, we'll know about that later. These servo motors power his movements, making them all the more terrifying. And he also has LED eyes that light up and look deep into your soul. But where did this Strawman come from? Well, legend says that back in the day, he used to be a gentle farmer who loved the great outdoors and tending to his crops. But one day, the chemical plant nearby exploded, contaminating the fields. So now, instead of protecting the lands he once cultivated, he feeds on destruction and is always on the prowl, setting traps for the unsuspecting, eagerly sinking his razor-sharp tools into their tender flesh, and stuffing their mouths full of straw before they can scream in terror. We love this animatronic, and people agree. The movement and the details on its face and clothing make it one of the coolest Spirit Halloween animatronics. The way his face moves while speaking is chilling and very impressive. That's why the Duck Squad gave him 4 skulls out of 5 on the Grimm scale.
Monty Animatronic.
You probably know or even had a classic Jolly Chimp. This toy is a cymbal-banging monkey that, when activated, repeatedly hits its cymbals together, and in some cases, bobs its head, chatters, screeches, grins, pops its eyes out, does flips, and more. But what would happen if this chimp got tired of entertaining people? Well, Spirit Halloween answered that question when they created Monty. This animatronic is 6 feet tall, wearing a yellow vest and standing on a striped box with a star. When activated, the monkey bangs his cymbals together as his eyes light up and his mouth moves to audio. Apparently, Monty was every kid's favorite toy from yesteryear, delighting generations with his antics. But after one little boy wished and wished for his favorite toy to come to life, he grew to become the fuel of nightmares of every kid. And now he sends them running for cover. This animatronic is special because Spirit Halloween created a side theme just for Monty this year. The Monty display resembles a small circus tent with a wooden floor, black and white striped poles, and a red and yellow striped roof with several holes. And it even features a unique version of the universal footpad activator cover with popcorn, tickets, and a banana peel on it. The animatronic's piercing screams and clanging cymbals will make any person jump. But we can all agree that Monty is a fantastic animatronic, and its design and size will make him nightmare fuel for more than one. So, what's the verdict? The Duck Squad gave him 4 skulls out of 5 on the Grimm scale.
Lord Raven Animatronic.
Lord Raven was voted as one of the scariest and favorite animatronics from this list, and we can see why. This animatronic is seriously spooky. It resembles a large bird skull-headed figure cloaked in black with its arms raised out to its side. When it is activated, it raises its arms up and down while also moving its head in and out. This, combined with its mouth movements and red light-up eyes, make this animatronic very creepy. Lord Raven is known for keeping a nest made from the clean-picked bones of its victims. Perched upon this throne, the beast waits until the sun dips below the mountain peaks before flapping its wings and emerging into the night to stalk its next victim. Your only chance to survive is catching a glimpse of its demonic eyes before Lord Raven and its minions descend upon you and turn you into their next feast, pecking you until only bones are left. Sounds terrifying, doesn't it? Well, at 6 feet tall, Lord Raven looks very imposing when you see it in person. Everyone agrees that this animatronic is very creepy, and something that stands out is its voice and impressive movements. Lord Raven is, without a doubt, in the top 3 scariest animatronics of this Halloween season. So it's no wonder that the Duck Squad gave it 4 skulls out of 5 on the Grimm scale.
And I saved the best for last. The greatest animatronic ever to come out of Spirit Halloween, Grimm.
While Grimm is not a new animatronic, he became an instant fan favorite when he was released during last year's season. One of the main reasons for this, apart from the animatronic being really cool, is that this was the first Spirit Halloween animatronic to use servo motors. He has a combination of 6 different servos motors to move the different parts of his body, including his arms, torso, head, and eyes, which make for some very realistic and lifelike movements. His head was programmed to turn side to side, nod up and down, and tilt left to right, all at the same time. 3 servo motors control eye movement, allowing the eyes to realistically turn up and down from side to side as he says some bone-chilling phrases. This animatronic is amazing, and fans have been obsessed with it since it was announced last year. So of course, he had to come back for this year's season. Grimm only received a few changes, like an updated paint job as well as the ending of one of his phrases being edited. Originally ended
tonight is ours,
He now says,
Halloween is ours.
you have to be sure to watch out when the sun dips below the horizon and the dark blanket of night lays across your sleepy little town, because Grimm and his tortured undead brethren rise to stalk the lives of the living. Cursed to walk the night for eternity, reaping misfortune and ghastly dread to anyone unlucky enough to cross their path. But don't be fooled by their wicked sense of humor. Or else, while you are laughing, you might find that your funny bone, along with the rest of your skeleton, ends up part of their army. Forever. Very chilling. As for the Grimm scale,
10 skulls. 10 skulls for Grimm. So what do you think? Which of these is the scariest and coolest animatronic? You know it's me. So if you do, leave a skull below to show it. Meanwhile, I will be staying here at Fastpass Facts as a team member to help them create spookier content. So be sure to subscribe to what's coming up during spooky season.